The Galactic Tribunal chamber fell silent as the newest conscript stumbled through the airlock, his pale skin glistening with nervous perspiration. Commander Vexthol's 4 eyes narrowed in disgust as he observed the bipedal creature before him. The human's frame appeared pathetically fragile compared to the armored Krillian warriors, the razor-clawed Zephyrians, and the hulking crystalline beings from Nexus Prime. "This is what Earth sends us." Lieutenant Quindar hissed through her mandibles, her exoskeleton clicking with amusement. "A soft-bodied weakling that lacks even basic defensive plating." Marcus Chen, no relation to the infamous Chen dynasty of smugglers, stood at attention despite the obvious terror in his eyes. His recruitment had been a formality, Earth's mandatory contribution to the Interstellar Defense Coalition. Most species contributed their strongest warriors; humans, it seemed, sent whoever was available. The training facility on Kepler Station housed the galaxy's most elite fighting force. Recruits from 17 different worlds pushed themselves beyond their biological limits, preparing for the inevitable war against the Void Hunters, parasitic entities that consumed entire star systems. During the first week, Marcus became the training ground's entertainment. He couldn't match the Altarians' electromagnetic pulse abilities, couldn't survive the toxic atmosphere training that the sulfur breathers excelled in, and his reaction times seemed glacial compared to the lightning-fast reflexes of the quantum leapers. Dr. Reina Vasquez, the facility's xenobiologist, watched the daily humiliations with growing concern. She had studied human physiology extensively and knew there was more to this species than met the eye. Humans were survivors, adapters, persistence hunters who had conquered their homeworld through sheer determination rather than superior physical attributes. "Commander," she approached Vexthol after another disastrous training session where Marcus had been knocked unconscious by a Nexarian sound wave attack. "I request permission to design a specialized training regimen for the human." Vexthol's laugh rumbled through his throat sacs. "Waste of resources, Doctor. The creature will be dead within hours of his first real engagement." But Vasquez had noticed something others missed. While Marcus failed spectacularly at alien combat techniques, he demonstrated an unusual ability to analyze patterns, to learn from every defeat, and most importantly, to endure punishment that would break the spirit of most beings. 3 weeks into training, everything changed during a routine sparring exercise in the zero-gravity combat dome. Marcus had been paired against Thorak, a 7-foot-tall warrior whose species had evolved on a high-gravity world. The match was expected to last seconds. Instead of attempting to match Thorak's brute force, Marcus did something unexpected. He used the dome's geometry against his opponent, ricocheting off surfaces in ways that confused the gravity-adapted warrior. When Thorak lunged with devastating force, Marcus wasn't there. He had calculated the trajectory and positioned himself to strike at the exact moment Thorak was most vulnerable. The Nexarian warrior crashed into the dome wall with bone-crushing impact while Marcus landed gracefully, barely breathing hard. Silence filled the observation deck. "Lucky shot," muttered Quindar, but her voice lacked conviction. The next day, Marcus faced 3 opponents simultaneously. Using their own strengths against them, he turned their advantages into liabilities. The Zephyrian's claws became entangled in the training apparatus Marcus had deliberately positioned. The Krillian's armor became a prison when Marcus managed to jam the joint mechanisms with precisely thrown debris. Dr. Vasquez smiled as she recorded her observations. Tactical intelligence, adaptive thinking, endurance tolerance exceeding galactic averages by 340%, she murmured into her recorder. "The human doesn't fight like other species because he doesn't need to. He fights like a human." By month's end, other recruits began requesting to train with Marcus. Not to dominate him, but to learn from him. His human methods of warfare, deception, misdirection, using enemy psychology against them, were revolutionizing combat doctrine. When the Void Hunters finally arrived at the sector's edge, Marcus stood ready alongside his alien comrades. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson: never judge a species by its appearance. Sometimes the greatest strength lay not in fangs or armor, but in the relentless human capacity to turn any situation into an opportunity for victory.